Hello guys,
Okay,
this is the first video for Calc 2 lecture notes. All my lecture notes will be based off of University of Florida's math Calc 2 lecture notes. The lecture notes will be posted in the description, and every single lecture note can be and will be able to be seen through here. As you can see, lecture 1 through 40. And now let's begin with lecture 1. Lecture 1 is integration by parts. Integration by parts is actually just a method that was found, earlier, and it actually has. This is the formula that teachers are going to try to have you use: UV times V times DU. It's pretty much helpful, but I highly suggest you do tabulating method. And tabulating method is exactly what I'm going to show you right now. Clear this. Okay, so tabulating method is it's the same concept of the U and the V. And before I begin, let's see how you choose your U and your V. Your U is always your primary and your V is always your secondary. So how do you choose your U and how do you choose your V? Well, this is based off of one simple I can't think of the word, pretty much technique that you use to pick for your U and your V. The method is called IPET. It's just something that you have to memorize, and that's pretty much all Calc 2 is, memorization. And your U, to pick your primary, you're going to choose from this I can't think of the word, this mnemonic device. There we go. The I stands for inverse, the P stands for polynomial, E stands for exponential, and T stands for trigonometry. And what comes first in the integral is what you'd be choosing. So for example, in this example, x e to the x, we look at it: inverse, polynomial, exponential, and trigonometry. Well, x is a polynomial and e to the x is an exponential. So we obviously, whatever came first, which in this case is the x, becomes our u. And now that we know what our u is, we can now make our tabulating method. Our tabulating method begins with two arrows. These are our two arrows, one going down, one going up. The arrows really have no significance. It's just a little, you think, to help remember what you have to do. The down arrow will always be your derivative, and this is our u, and your up arrow will always be our integral, which is our v. And now that we have that, we can pretty much go from there. Our u is our integral, and our u is our derivative, and our v is our integral. Now let's get ready to begin a problem. Clear. Okay, so now let's do x e to the x. This problem right here. We look at the problem and we do our little handy dandy mnemonic device, IPET. Sorry for the handwriting. And we realize that we look at this problem and x is obviously a polynomial, so that comes first. And e to the x is our exponential, so that comes second due to this equation right here. So derivative, integral. Since x goes here, go a little bigger, and e to the x goes here. Okay, so now the goal for lecture 1 at least is to pretty much manipulate our down arrow to get it to 0. If the function can't get to 0, we will talk about this later, but as for this problem, it does become 0, so we'll talk about it here. So x, take the derivative, 1. Whatever we do here, we have to do the other side. So 1, x, the derivative of x is 1, and the integral of e to the x is just e to the x. We still didn't get 0, so we have to do this again. Now we get the derivative of 1 is 0, and the integral of e to the x again is just e to the x. Okay, now that we've completed our tabulating, we got to 0. Now we can make our lines and complete the problem. So now we pretty much just tabulate it, so now we have to go across, and the last number will always go sideways. So this goes always 1 down, x e to the x, 1 e to the x, 0 e to the x. We have to multiply these. So, and then whenever we do, we always start positive, negative, positive. The signs will always alternate, and we have to multiply these two together, and the last number always is sideways. So we have x this number times this number, x e to the x, minus 1 times e to the x, so just e to the x. And then 0 times e to the x is just 0, so that's 0. But that's a plus, so plus 0. And then finally plus c, because it is an indefinite integral. And that is it. Look at our answer, x e to the x minus e to the x plus c, and we're done. And stay tuned for another video.